Oh.
Molly and I snuck out to a party tonight. It was in full swing by the time we got there, meaning all the boys were bollocksed. Well, not all. We weren't there long when this beautiful lad hands me a beer and said his name was Colin. I was tall with bright green eyes and he wore neon-coloured runners. I asked him if it was his party. He shook his head and said that he knew it was my party. Then he turned and waved his hand around like he was the great fucking Gatsby. And the first thing we saw was Stanley Whittaker throwing up in the kitchen sink. I laughed and said he could have his party back. And we blathered for a while and we were really getting on when Stanley Whittaker stumbled over and asked Colin if he ever wore those shoes outside. And before I could tell him to fuck off, Stanley asked Colin if he knew I was the daughter of Michael O'Shea. I felt my legs go numb. Colin couldn't get away from me fast enough.
Oh, shit! Hail! Oh, fuck! Hail's too strong. I can't get through. Is this another bunker? How many are there?
Stanley can still surprise me, even after all this time. We drove out for a picnic at our tree by the ocean, but when we got there, Stanley pulled a guitar case out of the boot. I had no idea he played guitar. All afternoon we laid together, in the grass, under the tree, while Stanley strummed and plucked away. It was grand. Then he told me to close my eyes. I told him he better not have any funny ideas, but he said he tried learning a new song just for me. After a few bars, it started to sound familiar, but I couldn't stop myself from kissing him before he could finish the song. I'll let him finish it for me someday.
and I'm running out of time. This thing. Christ, I hope it's big enough to protect me. The door. It's working. Kiss my arse, fucking island. The black smoke. Nearly there. Christ, what the... Oh, fuck! Help! Help me! No. No! I was right there. What do you want from me? Tell me what you want from me. Pull it together, Stanley. The sooner you find Leonore, the sooner you can get her off this fucking island. Just find her.
I will not be a prisoner's wife. I will not become like those other empty wives, like my mother. I will not be looked after or taken care of, isolated. There is no light without him. He is my heart, and I cannot live without my heart. I'll do whatever it takes to get him out. I will not be a prisoner's wife.
I'm lost. Leonore, please call. Let me hear your voice. Of course. Missing the fucking handle. I'll take that.
So many funerals today. I was with Stanley at his father's funeral. There was quite a crowd of people. I told Stanley his father would be proud of the turnout, but he said Paddy would just want to make a speech. The police were watching the crowd, but they didn't bother anyone. They were hidden, but I spotted them straight away. I had to help Stanley write the eulogy for Paddy, but when it came time to read it, he couldn't speak. He gripped the sides of the lectern so hard I feared it would splinter in his hands. Finally, Stanley said Paddy was the speechmaker, but he wasn't enough like his father to do him justice. He just folded up the speech and left in silence.
All dead. Everywhere.
I wonder why I keep these damn journals. There are so many things I wish I could forget. Today at the school site, my senses were filled with the buzzing of insects and the smell of the jungle. But then, all at once, I thought I was back in Belfast. The air rocked with a heavy thud of a bomb exploding. Stanley took off in a dead run towards the sound. A cow had set off an old landmine, and there was a man at the edge of the field shouting for everyone to stay back. But Stanley, he charged past him, splashing into the mud. I wanted to stop him. My voice froze in my throat when I saw Stanley lift the tiny body out of the grass. The boy's name was Udom. He had been walking with the cow. Udom's father collapsed as Stanley gently passed the boy to him. Udom's father kept apologising over and over for not protecting him from the evils brought to this village.
Finally, an open door. Oh, great. More freezing water. got to be some way out. Locked. Why am I not surprised? That's a big fucking door. Ice now. Oh, fuck, it's cold down here. Looks like it's been deserted for ages.